Can something as simple as a hot water bottle work as well as a painkiller for your period cramps? Whether you're a hot water bottle loyalist or a painkiller person, let's see which works better for all of us. Hi, I'm Ankita and here with me is Anuja. Welcome back to Code Crimson Chats and let's get started.
Okay, the reason why we get cramps is because of a chemical in our bodies called the prostaglandins that get released by the uterine lining.
Correct. Women who have severe period cramps, they have more amount of prostaglandins. Right. So what happens is when you have more amount of prostaglandins, that causes squeezing of your blood vessels and that releases less of oxygen and ultimately there is pain in the muscles. So that is why you get all the cramps and all the period pain. So the villain here is actually the prostaglandins.
So the higher amount of prostaglandins, the more pressure is there on the uterus to stop the blood flow.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so prostaglandins is what causes the cramps.
Correct.
We've established that. Now to deal with cramps, there are two ways we can deal with it. Either we stop the production of prostaglandins or we stop these chemicals reaching our brain that triggers the pain sensation.
Yes, basically to distract the brain.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's start with the age-old evergreen hot water bag or the heat treatment that also we can alternatively call it because now we have the heat patches and so on. So when I was researching about this topic, I was very optimistic that I'll be able to debunk that heat treatment is a facade because it has never worked for me.
Yeah.
But turns out studies show that heat treatment is way better in some cases or in most cases than popping a pill to reduce your cramp.
Yes, that's because the pain and the heat receptors, they follow the same pathway to the brain. So when you're giving a heat treatment for your period cramps, they basically try to distract your brain from the pain. Okay, so you're flooding the entire pathway with heat rather than pain. So your pain tends to reduce a lot.
Okay, so you're crowding the traffic essentially with more of the heat signals than the pain signals.
Correct.
So this is exactly what happens when you rub your elbow when you bump it, right?
Yeah.
So the heat signals are crowding that pathway also instead of the pains. That way it helps with the pain. Oh, interesting. But having said that, the heat treatment being the optimum form of treatment for cramps, the modern lifestyle for menstruators, I think it's a little difficult to carry a hot bag everywhere. It's impractical. It's not just a little difficult, it's impractical.
Yeah.
Because two reasons. Even when you're carrying the hot water bag, first it loses its temperature eventually, and you will also need to find a place where you will be able to get the hot water, and even for the electric ones you need to charge it. Now that's not very practical, and to carry it all the time with you.
Yes, true. So that is why there are these rechargeable belts which have come. There are adhesive wraps. There are heat relief patches which have come.
The heating pads.
Yeah, the heating pads. Then you have the roll-ons, which actually adapts a lot to the current lifestyle that women are in right now. So whether it's the meeting rooms, whether it's a travel, whether it is your exams, college, whatever. So you can use it. You can just keep it in your bag.
Right.
And you can travel along with it.
Right. Because heating bags, I feel they are not practical anymore because our lives are not as domesticated as it used to be 50 years ago. So we need to come up with more modern solutions for women to continue to have this active lifestyle.
Yeah, that's 100%. So the adhesive patches also, I have used it during my art trip in Thailand, if you remember. So it just sticks onto your cloth and it stays for around 8 to 12 hours. And it has the self-heating capacity the moment it touches your skin.
Right. And I've also read this that it's actually better than the hot water bags and the heating bags because they tend to lose their temperature, and to get continued relief you need to have something that is constantly giving you the same temperature to eventually reduce the cramps.
Correct.
Okay, now moving on to the pills. Most of India uses Meftal Spas, although I must mention here that you are to use pills for your cramps only after they have been prescribed by a gynac.
Yes.
Do not get influenced by what we are saying. This is just for the sake of discussion and what we have access to after it has been prescribed by our doctors. So ensure that you are administering any pill to your body after it has been prescribed safely by your doctor.
Correct.
Coming to the pills, there are times when I have used paracetamol when I have not had access to Meftal Spas, but from what I know, they are two completely separate drugs coming from two separate family of drugs, but they still seem to help me. How is that possible?
Yeah, I would say starting with Meftal Spas first. So it comes under the category of NSAIDs, like the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay. So that helps. So Meftal, ibuprofen, these help with your period cramps a lot. Okay. They basically stop the production of prostaglandins. Okay. Completely stop it. Okay, so might as well, when I say this, you're supposed to take the pill right before you feel that you might get your pain. Okay, because what happens is Meftal or the NSAIDs can only prevent the further or the future production of prostaglandins. Cannot do anything or kill the prostaglandins which have already been released.
That are already causing your cramps.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, the go-to drugs, or I would say the first line of treatment is ideally your NSAIDs. And coming to paracetamol, okay, so I would say that it is in layman terms, it is general because it helps with your fever, it helps with your body pain sometimes, like Dolo. So it is kind of the wrong tool for this particular kind of pain. It will affect you, but for a much milder pain. Okay, but not for the cramps, or it is not cramp specific.
Okay. It just gives you a general relief of body pain. That's how it works. Okay. And I've also heard that Meftal Spas, I've read this actually, Meftal Spas is a very powerful drug and it's supposed to be used as such. What it means is we are supposed to take the lowest effective dose of that drug. Because there are certain regulations that have come to play in 2023 warning against the overuse of the drug, given that it is such a powerful drug. So highlighting point here would be that it's a powerful drug and it is supposed to be used as such.
And that I would say is usually correct for all kinds of painkillers. And it should also be avoided for people with stomach ulcers or having some liver or kidney issues. So they should avoid it. So it has its set of side effects. Again, please consult your doctor before taking any pill.
But again, from what I've read, that these side effects are there even in paracetamol, even in ibuprofen. So Meftal Spas is not banned, but it is advised to use in the lowest effective dose.
Yes, cautiously. So again, to say it right, ibuprofen and Meftal Spas, they come under the same category. It's NSAIDs. It's a painkiller. So that's what I said. Painkillers have that ability, so you should be using it very cautiously.
Just a share of what I've learned again. This is, it says the lethal aspect of this drug is that it causes inflammation of your heart, kidney and liver. That's the most dangerous part of it.
It's the DRESS syndrome.
The DRESS syndrome, the dizziness and stomach ulcers and all that. Okay.
And it has reported some 10% mortality also, so that is the reason why it is supposed there's a red flag which has been raised against it.
But having said that, given the cramps that I have, you've seen how bad cramps I get, would you say that heat treatment can be a replacement for the pills for me?
I think a combination of both would help you, but there are a lot of girls who actually have experienced relief with just the heat treatment. For example,
and studies have shown that it's sometimes better than the pill popping.
Now this brings me to the next thing about the herbal teas.
Okay. The placebo effect.
The placebo effect.
Okay, before we get into the placebo effect, do you want to explain what placebo effect is?
Yeah. A placebo effect is a remedy which actually does nothing to your body but tricks your brain into thinking that it has healed you.
Or it is healing you. Yeah, you tend to believe that it is doing something for you.
Yes.
But in reality, it is doing nothing. Okay. But it is, in some cases, it has proven to be a genuine form of treatment. Why I say this is because in a study, 18% of the women, after they were given the sugar pill, thought that it helped with their cramps, thinking that it is actually a painkiller, but it actually was a sugar pill.
Yeah.
And that's the placebo effect. It just tricked their mind into thinking that this is going to help them, but it actually in reality did nothing.
Correct.
So it's also a legitimate form of treatment, they say.
Yes. Kind of these placebo effects are your herbal tea, are your detox tea. You feel that you're having something hot, something warm, which is organically trying to help with your pain. Something natural. It is actually not helping you. Again, it's a debatable topic.
I mean, it is helping you, but it is doing nothing.
But in the sense that it's not actively causing, or it's not causing the active intervention.
Active intervention, right.
It's
that's
neither
right
blocking,
word.
neither stopping.
Yeah, because it is not playing a role in stopping the prostaglandins or blocking the prostaglandins.
Yeah.
And those are the two ways we've established that actually help reduce the cramps.
Yes.
But I have a problem with these period pills and these cramp reliefs that are more Ayurvedic in nature, or even supplements, magnesium, iron and so on. They are not fire extinguishers. They probably will make your reproductive system stronger, enhance your menstrual health and reproductive health.
And your overall health.
Yeah. But they are not active agents to be treating your period cramps with, given your cramps are very lethal per se, unless the placebo effect is working on you. But what I fear is sometimes women may lean onto these remedies and go unchecked with their other underlying
chronic
diseases like PCOD or endometriosis, because fibroids, endometriosis is one of the rarest, one of the hardest condition to be diagnosed.
So same can even be said for exercises, so that is also not a fire extinguisher.
Correct.
You just cannot be exercising, or you just cannot be doing a plank on the day of your severe cramps. You will have to take time out and do your regular exercises, which is known to be a preventive mechanism of relieving your period cramps.
Makes you fitter.
It makes you fitter. Even if your period cramps don't reduce, you have a fitter body.
Right. But I've legitimate heard that there are girls who get instant relief while they exercise on their period, when they exercise on their periods.
What might be happening here is when you exercise or when you're working out, your happy hormones are released, or you're lesser stressed, I would say. There is release of stress.
Your brain gets distracted.
Yeah, your brain again gets distracted, and because of which you might be having lesser cramps.
And also I think your muscles get more oxygen.
Yeah.
And that's what helps with the cramps also, because of the movement.
Yes. Another remedy for your period relief is the TENS. Okay, so you can read about it. But
tell us in brief what TENS is.
Yeah, so TENS are the electrodes. They are these electrode patches which are put across your abdomen or your lower back, which helps a lot with the period cramps.
And is this available in India?
I think so, yes.
Over the counter?
I'm not very sure about that. I would have to do more research, but I guess it is available. But yes, it is an evolving technology right now, for sure.
It's interesting how periods has been around since time immemorial, and yet we are still trying to decipher ways of relief, pain relief, how to understand what remedy works for which part of the cycle, because menstrual pain is very different from ovulation pain again. And everybody is different, so their cravings, what works for them, what doesn't work for them is also vastly dissimilar to each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But having said that, we hope you were able to get something out of this episode, even though we touched upon a lot of topics and a lot of critical topics, a lot of new topics that were even new to us while we were researching for it. And we hope there is more research done for women's bodies. We hope there is more agency for the research to be done. There is more funding, there is more efforts, more interest in women's bodies, because more learnings and more distribution of the learning as well, and more implementation of the learning. And if you have a remedy for yourself that you do while you are on your periods and we haven't touched upon that, or you think it's a placebo effect, or if it's actually a remedy that is passed on to you by your grandmother maybe, we'd love to hear that. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And till then, take care of yourself and take care of your uterus.
Bye-bye.